Hi, I'm Elizabeth,
And I'm Sue.
and we're here with another Feeding Frenzy for A Course in Weight Loss, and we're on lesson number 8.
Surrender to the divine. So, tell me what you got out of this lesson.
What I got out of this one was, I didn't get into this overnight. I'm not going to get out of it overnight. And it's not just a matter of treating the symptoms anymore. I literally have to call upon a power greater than myself
Okay.
to get through the addictive qualities of this, but also to reach my inner power.
Yeah, this is not something I can do on my own. You know, if it was, I would have already done it by now.
Why do you think it's not something you can do on your own?
Because I really truly feel like now that the weight that I carry, the excess weight that I carry, is because God's trying to get my attention. And He's trying to get a message to me through my body.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that's a wrong way to say it. Maybe, how do I say this? When we work with nature, when we work with nature, and everything's in balance, and then things just work. But anytime we work against the natural laws, the spiritual laws, then things are out of balance. And this particular thing is out of balance in my life.
Right.
So therefore, it's trying to show me where something's out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily that somebody's trying to get a message or that God's trying to get a message, but it's a place where I'm out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
And until I figure out how to get that in balance,
Mm-hmm.
then it's going to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say it's God trying to get a message to me, it's an indicator that something's out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
And until I figure out what that is and fix it,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to stay out of balance. So that is a cue to me, here's something that you need to work on. And if I could do it with exercise and diet, it would have been done already. Because I work on that constantly, thinking that's what's out of balance. And it's not. It's more internal. I'm treating the symptoms when I'm doing the dieting and the exercise. And what I really need to work on is the inner that's out of balance. And I think what this is trying to tell me is the part that's out of balance is my surrendering to God and letting Him have some of the things that I try to take on myself. That makes sense?
You know what came? Yeah, it did. You know what came to me about this whole process, especially when we were writing, and it didn't come to me until I was writing, and I kept thinking to myself, what is this going to do? But I went someplace else, while I was writing, and what came to me was I've been trying to take responsibility, as I should, for myself and my life. But there are some things that are underneath all of this weight that I don't know the reason for. I don't know how to access it. I don't know how to release it. Do you see what I'm saying? I just can't get to myself. And for a long time, I've been blaming myself. Well, if I just had more willpower, or if I could just stuck to this diet a little longer, or if I just, I had a whole list of if I would haves.
Right.
And what I realized in the writing was there are a lot of things that I don't understand. And the sooner that I release the should haves, would haves, could haves, the sooner I can get to those. So the sooner I call upon my higher power, which I know my connection is within, as soon as I call upon that and let go of the wouldas, shouldas, couldas, the guilt and the shame and the blame, as soon as I let go of that, I can access those quicker. So that's what surrender means to me. It doesn't necessarily mean I quit.
Right.
It means I understand there's things that I don't know and I don't understand. I understand that some of this weight, I didn't realize why it was put on there, so I can't uncover how to undo it. You know what I'm saying? And I realize that there are certain things that I just need to let go of. I don't have to understand the entire law of electricity to work with it.
Right.
So in this case, I don't have to understand all of this to be able to work with it.
Right.
So for me, it just means understanding that there are things that I don't understand and being okay with that.
Right. Or just letting go of the oars.
Yeah.
And letting the boat float where it's going to go.
Yeah.
You know, letting God take control and say, okay, I'm going to do my part. You know, when you show me which direction we're going in, I'll help you along. But just letting go and letting God take us where we're supposed to go next. When you were talking, it reminded me of, you know, used to when I was in school and those people would put the kick me stickers on the back, you know, people walk around kicking you all day and you wonder, well, what's wrong? You know, we're carrying around rocks we don't even know that are there.
Yeah.
And until somebody points it out to us, or until something points it out to us, oh, you got a sticker on your back, you know, then we can look at the rocks and say, oh, well, no wonder these things are happening in my life, you know. We can't get rid of the rocks until we see them.
Right.
And I think for me, the weight is saying, okay, something's out of balance. And there may be no way for me to figure that out until it's revealed to me. And I have faith that God will reveal it when the time is right, for that I'm ready to handle it and deal with it. And I think surrendering and asking God, okay, show me.
Exactly.
Is when it's going to show up. But that's not if I'm going, show me, you know, and that's what I feel like it means to surrender, is instead of saying show me, is to say show me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And wanting to know the real reason.
Yes.
You know, as a programmer, I write code all the time. A lot of times it doesn't work. And I'm sure I've done it right. And everything I look at, it's right because I know I did it right, you know. But when I surrender and say, okay, obviously I'm not doing it right. Where is the problem? If I get up, walk away, and come back, I can usually find it right off the bat. But as long as my ego's in the way, saying, I didn't do this wrong, I won't find it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of this surrendering is letting go of our ego.
Yes.
And taking down those walls that we've built to protect ourselves, because we can't be wrong. You know, it couldn't be that I eat too late, or that I eat too much, or I eat too often. It couldn't be me, you know. So surrendering and saying, okay, I know I've made mistakes. I know I've done some things that I shouldn't have done, and I've gotten in the habit of that, and my body's learned those habits. Okay, I've screwed up. So what? Let's go from here. Ask for forgiveness, forgive myself. And I think that's what the other lessons were about as we did the oil and those things. It's okay, yeah, I've screwed up. I've abused this body. But okay, let's go from here. Show me what I've done. Show me the rocks I need to look and take out of the backpack. And then let's move on.
And let's move on from here.
And I think she pointed out, this is not going to happen overnight just because we even see the rocks. We still have to take the time to look at them and get rid of them.
So why do you think she chose this time a writing assignment? First of all, what did you think about the writing assignment?
My hand was hurting. I'm not used to writing. I'm used to typing, you know, and I was upset that she said we couldn't type it. I could type that out in no time in my journal, which I keep online.
Well, you made the remark about halfway into it that it felt like you were back in school and you got into trouble, that you were writing sentences. Did that change?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel like a bad thing. It was just, except for my hand cramping. It was, I don't know, boring for me. But again, I think once you get your conscious mind doing something like that, your subconscious mind is free to do its thing. And I found myself wandering off, and which is not a bad thing. But I found mine going to, oh, I need to do this, this, and this when I get through this, you know, and going over my to-do list. But yeah, I can see the reason for it. I much prefer, my left brain much prefers something like this than slathering up with oil or something.
I know, it wasn't quite as entertaining, right?
Well, it was much easier for me to write sentences than
Go
by fruit.
Go by fruit.
How about you? Did you like it?
First time through, it was all about, my hand is cramping. And if I get it was all about the semantics of it. You know what I'm saying? If I put the words in the exact right column, then I can get this all in one space. Oh, that's great. You know, and then I count the spaces. Oh, look, there's exactly 30 spaces.
You did a lot of counting.
It was literally just, let's just get through this. You know? So the first time through, it was just, let's just do
Well, it
this.
didn't help that you did it at 11 or 12 at night.
Exactly. I was too tired to do it anyway. But we'd made the commitment to do it, so I was going to do it anyway. Second time through, it started out the same way. I just want to get through this. I was thinking about my stomach. I'm hungry now, and so I was distracted anyway. And then about, I don't know, 5 or 6 sentences in, I thought, what would it be if I just relaxed into this and stopped worrying about, do I have enough room on the line? And do I have, my stomach is hungry and I've got other things to do. What if I just relaxed into it? Well, then I found myself losing count, and that's when my mind began to drift. You know what I'm saying? So that was a good exercise for me in giving your conscious mind something else to do so that the subconscious can be, called upon. That was a good exercise in that. So I'm anxious to see what happens this evening when I do it again.
Yeah. Well, instead of counting them like that, I just put 1, circle it, and then write it, and then 2, and circle it.
That's a good idea.
And then I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
We left brain people got this figured out. And we're not worried about it if it ends right. So do you think of surrender any differently now than you did before? After reading this and doing the exercise?
A little bit. To me, surrender is not so much as giving up anymore as it used to be. Surrender literally was just a breaking of my will. But I was taught that from an early age. If I was going to surrender to something, and then it literally meant that my will was broken. Today, it means something different.
Good.
It doesn't mean giving up, and it doesn't mean breaking my will. It means I am awake enough to understand that I don't have to know it all, and that I don't know it all, and that there is a power higher than me that can and wants to help.
Yeah.
And so I see it more as a bowing than a breaking.
Yeah.
Recognizing that there's a higher intelligence, that there is a plan to this, that I just don't understand. So I choose to bow to that rather than break.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me
It's not a defeat.
Right. It just means letting go of my resistance to whatever. Talking about the natural laws earlier, the spiritual laws. When we resist those, it just causes more trouble. And if we just go with them, go with the flow, instead of trying to push against.
Even at this stage, I can choose to build a dam across the river, But I'm expending so much energy doing that. If I just choose to lay down and go with the flow, it's going to be so much easier. And it'll be a more pleasant ride, that's for sure.
Right. Right. Do you feel like your body's changing in
My
response?
my body is definitely changing, and it's in response to this work. Yes, I am working with, and cooperating as far as watching what I eat and being accountable for it and choosing to exercise. I'm working with, but my major changes I see are happening here and here rather than.
Yeah. This morning we were
the way.
eating, and all of a sudden my stomach started to feel pretty tight, and I thought, wow. Before I wouldn't have even noticed that, and it was almost as if I could hear my stomach saying, "Whoa, stop! Don't hurt me again. You gave this up."
Yeah.
So it made me quit, and that felt good to know that I can trust my body. I can trust myself to know when to stop. I don't have to look at the calories on the box to say, okay, I've had enough calories. I can just trust my stomach to know when it's had enough. And to start listening to my body better.
That's what I'm learning to do more. Is learning to listen to my body.
And to know, if we just slow down enough to listen to when we're sleepy, when we're hungry, and when we're thirsty, when we need to go to the bathroom, or whatever it is. If we would just listen to our bodies better, instead of ignoring them and keeping on stuffing it in, or whatever we're doing, we'd be a lot better off.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, though.
It's, teaching an old dog new tricks. It really is. It
So
really is.
I see it more as replacing the bad habits with better ones.
Yes.
So we're getting there.
We are getting there. Step at a time. That's good stuff.
It is.
Shrimp.
Shrimp.